I have a client who's asked me to do a shoot of their product. Now, it's a luxury bathroom item. I haven't got the product with me because it hasn't arrived yet, but I'm going to be doing a test shot today. So I'm going to talk you through using the one light setup and the Scrim and doing a basic kind of product or product lifestyle layout. So let's get to it. Here's my Scrim. It's set up at 45 degrees for doing my product photography. Do a setup here. I've got one ARRI 300 on the other side. You can use any light with this amazing, easy to make Scrim. And there you have it. 1x beautiful Scrim. This is a floor or wall tile that you can pick up from your hardware store for next to nothing. I think it's about £4. But what a fantastic backdrop or ground that makes for my product layout. So this is not a studio, this is my conservatory, which is really small and pokey, but it's become my office and my studio during lockdown. I've done quite a few shoots here actually. Probably gonna have a towel. So let's just throw it in, nice and rough. Now I'm shooting on, you have to come another lot closer, on a Canon 80mm. Let's get some light in there so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to be using a bamboo toothbrush today. So I'm probably going to put that around there. I'm going to use this amazing looking charcoal soap. Probably just gonna place that right like that. So I don't want any of the shadow of that stealing my product. It's almost running at a 45-degree angle across my set, so which is okay. Now I already have a nice razor which I want to put in there. Yeah, it's almost like there's a square in the middle of the picture and my toothbrush is at a perfect angle in there. So it's a bit too organized at the moment. So how do we rectify that? Maybe we don't need a towel for the razor. Need to get back on live view. Oh, that's a bit interesting. Still very open, the space here. I mean, maybe it needs a second brush and no candle. I don't know. Probably don't want too many things in camera. You know, you want it to look natural, but you also want to highlight your product. So, as much as possible, make it look natural, but also bring attention to your product. What I will have to do is some focus stacking because I've got two toothbrushes. I need them both in focus. At the moment, it's focusing on the near one. Take a shot, and then we move our focus to the far one and take a shot. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, the towel on the left is so white the highlights are blowing out. My toothbrush heads are a little bit lacking in detail. And then I would say that the highlights are too strong on the toothbrush handles, and also the charcoal soap, although it looks really nice, is distracting because it's so bright. Oh, I want to turn this up a bit. That's looking nicer. And then I think the soap. Something needs to happen with that. Looks a little bit more natural. So you can see it's quite warm. So tungsten, obviously, even though our color temperature is at 3100, it's still too warm. So I'm gonna, and I do this mostly a lot with all of these. So 2900, and I'll apply these settings to both of them. But let's just beef up the exposure about 0.25, A little bit more contrast, so probably around about there. Highlights will push up, about 20. Shadows just slightly down. It's quite dark image, it's quite nice and moody. Bring the highlights up, no clipping, I mean no. There we go. And just bring our blacks down just a little bit. Add a little bit of texture, a little bit of clarity. And always push the vibrance up and the saturation down. More or less in equal measure, whether it actually does anything, but I prefer it. I think vibrance is different. Actually, I bring the saturation down to -12. Right, so now what I'm finding is you can see that the blacks are crushed within these bristles, which is understandable because they are black and they are dark, and I only use one light for this setup. However, we can cheat a little bit in post. So I'll just take your radial filter and we will draw one small little radial over these brushes. Now be careful not to go into the bamboo or onto the actual stone surface. So we just want a little bit of exposure difference within here, so you can pick up a little bit of the detail. So don't forget to invert it, and then I'm just going to bring the exposure up to about 1.25. That looks way better. Right click, duplicate it, and just drag it on. So you can see how much exposure difference it is making. But once you drop it into the darker areas, you can't really see it. Okay, so done. So I'm going to copy all those effects that I just made, all those changes. I'm going to paste them onto this one. I know I probably don't need to do both heads, but I'm doing it just in case. So, don't forget to invert. 1.25. Duplicate that. And apply it to this head over here. So you can see it just picks out a little bit more detail in the brushes, a little bit of separation within those dark blacks. Okay, so I'm happy with that. You'll see there is some cropping issues here, but we can fix that all in Photoshop. So now what I'm going to do is take these two into Photoshop, and you do that by selecting them, Photo, Edit in, Open as Layers in Photoshop. Right, so I'm now inside Photoshop. Just for safety, I'm going to group these. I'm going to duplicate the group, turn one off. As you can see, these layers are not quite aligned. That's due to the actual focus of the lens. So, we're taking, highlight both our layers, go Edit, Auto Align Layers, Auto, and let Photoshop AI do the rest. Wow, look at that. Perfectly aligned. So this layer, the bottom layer, is our layer that we're going to use as our base. Everything's nice and in focus, apart from this head, which just is a little bit soft. This toothbrush head, these bristles are just a little bit too soft. Whereas this layer is a little bit sharper. So I'm going to mask this layer. I'm going to Command I, invert that mask. Get paintbrush up. Nice soft brown paintbrush in white. Just going to zoom in. And I'm just going to paint in this toothbrush just to bring out a bit of detail in those bristles. As you can see, it's just looking nice, and it's very subtle, and when you put this onto its intended use, which is Instagram and social media, you're probably not going to even notice. But we always try and do the most perfect image that we can. Now, as you can see, there are some little anomalies in between these areas, so I'm just going to hit X to change my brush back to black, and a paint in that mask, and just make sure that all these, just make sure that they look the same as the background. Very subtle. There's just a little bit around these heads, you can see it. There we have it. Okay. So now I want to merge these two layers, but I'm not going to just merge them because I may want to have to go back to that. So Command Alt E gives me a merged stamped image. Let's pull that out of these groups and turn that group off. So I'm going to just crop, because you can see from our auto layer aligning that the images have moved a bit. So I just need to crop. So we've cropped our image. Now we just want to edit the tones and make it a little bit more dynamic. So I'm going to go to Curves and just do a basic S-curve where I push up the highlights and drop shadows ever so slightly, very subtle S-curve. You can see the difference, very subtle. And then I'm going to just bring out some levels just to boost my midtones just a little after that. Not very much, just a bit. Command Shift N gives me a new layer. However, if we change this to overlay, it gives us the opportunity to fill with overlay neutral color gray. Now if we fill with neutral color gray, overlay, there's no effect at all on the layer. Now we can actually go and give this a slight vignette. So we go to Filter, Lens Correction, around about let's give -50, so it's quite a subtle vignette. Now because this is on the overlay 50% grey layer, all you will see is the vignette. It's really subtle, which actually just brings a little bit more attention to the center of our images where our products are. One more thing I'm going to do, there's just a bit of lacking in detail in these brushes. So I'm going to go Command Shift N, I'm going to create another overlay, fill with neutral color 50% grey. I'm going to just call this Burn, and we'll actually just name this one Vignette. So on our burn layer, I'm literally going to just burn these brushes a little bit. So I've got it set to highlights, about 20%. I'm just going to burn the highlights of these brushes just a little bit, just to give them a little bit of tone. A little bit washed out at the moment. And you probably can't see it, but until I switch the layers on and off, then you will be able to see the difference that it's making. Especially up by the ear. So if I just turn the layer on and off, you'll see the difference it makes. Just adds a little bit of darkness into those highlights. And there you have it.